Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. I don't think there is any question that the housing or real estate market is changing. I have been doing this for 20 some odd years, as has Omar. And the reality is lots of investors are going to get got. They've only experienced the up market. They probably have adapted some interesting best practices. And worse yet, they might be arrogant in not realizing the market that's changed. So Omar, I thought we'd go back and forth a couple of times, play ping pong. How do you see investors losing money in this changing market? You're the guest. I'll let you go first.
Number one, you're buying a property too high. That is the number one thing. You're buying it too high because you think that your value is X and it's really not X because you're a newer investor. And even if you're a seasoned one for 5-6 years, you haven't gone through a crazy amount of upswing, downswings like Michael and I have. So it's like, follow what do you call our I guess our adjustments or our positions, because we're not going to steer you in the wrong way. So number one, pricing. And you bought it too high.
Just so you know, folks, Omar has a playlist on this channel with hundreds of videos, and we were talking about the changing market and what he was doing in his business 90 days ago. So go check it out. He told you what he's doing and he's executing now. So my number one is you're not adjusting your holding cost, right? A lot of you are using hard money or private money, 8, 10, 12, 14, whatever percent it is. You've gotten spoiled from listing to closing in 30 days. You've now gotten so used to a 4-month hold that you're budgeting that in your plan. Folks, flipping will still work. Right? When you take an ugly duckling and make it a beautiful swan, it'll still work. But I'm here to tell you, first thing I would do is you need to flip to the FHA buyer, VA buyer. So again, it's a different target. Your repairs need to go up. Your hold time needs to go up. Your concessions need to go up. You just need to margin a whole lot more into your cost structure, AKA profit structure. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose money. And it's like you said in number one, it all starts with where you buy. You have to buy it better. You just do.
100%.
That's my first one. What's next, Omar? You got another one?
Yeah. So it's funny, pricing, your rehab cost, and then your ARV, your inflated after repaired value to make yourself feel better that you bought yourself a good deal. And that right there, to me, is those are the top 3 ingredients that are going to screw you up 100%. You said rehab. I had said price, because you gotta buy it right. And then the third thing I'm going to say is your ARV, your after repaired value, because that is what you're basing it off of. Okay. And I want to say more, but we're going ping pong. So I'm going to say ARV, after repaired value. You go.
And we'll give you one more after this. We'll do 3. All right. So my number 2, what do I want to do for number 2? I guess number 2 for me is not realizing that the market changed, right? Some people have adopted business models that work beautifully for the last 2 years. The market has changed. Go back and watch video number 1. The market you have today in the Inland Empire is not 400 active listings. It's 1,400 active listings. The market you're in today is not everybody closes, but everybody cancels. It's a different market. And if you don't appreciate it, markets are going to kick your ass. Markets don't care about you.
Really don't.
So you should care about the market. The market doesn't care about you. So if you are arrogant, don't change your business practice, don't get smaller, don't appreciate all these things we've talked about, it is going to run you over. So what's the last one you got, Omar?
Okay. Last one is you said your holding cost. I said your capital reserves.
Yes.
Your reserves, that because you're flipping a house, your holding time now might be 5-6 months. Your rehab budget, again, like you said earlier, you may not have the correct number. So you're going to be spending more. Oh, and then if you're going to try to buy and hold it, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table because you may not get that correct interest rate when you go to refinance. So you have to have, my opinion, you got to have 6 months minimum reserves of all of your properties and the payments that you technically have to make. 6 months minimum.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So my last and final one is actually just a remember of somebody that I knew that was worth 10 million bucks that went to zero, bust, bankrupt in the last crash. He refused.
So that's that one guy.
Yeah, he refused to take well, for him, what had been a small 50K loss, and he lost his empire. Some of you are going to have to swallow some bitter medicine. You should be taking the small loss today, so it's not a big loss tomorrow. Some of you who have been all gas, no brake, need to realize, you know what, a brake's in a car for a reason. It might be okay to get slower, get smaller, take a couple of small lumps so you can fight another day. Real estate investing is an amazing business that builds true wealth and can allow you to be rich. But you also got to survive these changing markets. So changing markets is what washes the system. And you can either get washed out or take a couple of small losses and survive to thrive another day. The real estate investing market will be a lot easier for everyone in 2 years when a lot of the idiots go bye-bye. I suggest getting small so you can survive and thrive. Omar, do you have anything else you want to say about this topic before we roll into video number 3?
Man, there's so much about this, Michael, that, you know, everything just resonated perfectly, you know, from price, from rehab, from holding costs. Let's do a recap real quick, just so if anybody's not listening, let's just go over it real quick. Go ahead. You have them written down.
No, I don't. I don't, but I think we can get there, right? So my three were in reverse. I guess I'll go first, right? My first one was appreciating your holding time is going to get longer, right? Your construction costs, because you're going FHA, VI, basically the end buyer is out there. Number 2 is not appreciating that the market changed, right? Market doesn't care about you, but you should care about the market. And then finally, take the small loss. All gas, no brake is a sexy saying that could destroy you if you don't appreciate that the market's not ready for that. So those were my 3.
100%. Yep. Price, your capital holdings, and then your ARV, your after repaired value. It's too inflated, and you need to make that adjustment for today's market. And to add to that last point that you had right now about taking a loss, super, super important to take a $5,000, $10,000 loss right now versus a $80,000 to $100,000 loss. Totally, because it will happen. I took a loss. I backed out of a deal that I thought I was going to buy. I backed out. I lost my deposit of $11,000, 11K. But check this out. The next day, I should say the next week, that house was listed and it was dropped. I was buying it for $515. They ended up selling it for $525 with the original seller, which is great. But then he paid a 6% commission and such.
Oh yeah.
So I negotiated something with the original wholesaler, and my deposit, which was really cool. So props to him for sure. And I ended up losing $5,500 on a deal, but I was glad to. Yeah. Yep. I saved myself $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 loss.
Yeah. Take the small loss, folks. Flush the ego away. It's okay. This is about surviving and thriving. So Omar, thank you for leading by example. Appreciate you.